Hello and welcome to Ask GCN Anything.
Yes, and this week it's a winter special. So for all of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, the weather is turning, so we're going to answer all those questions on winter riding.
We are, but don't forget to use the hashtag AskGCNTraining and you'll then be in with a chance of winning 3 months free subscription to Zwift.
Perfect this time, yeah.
It is, indeed. And for any other questions, use the hashtag TalkBack.
Yes, so without further ado, let's get right in on those questions.
Yep, first up is Brian McCullough. Why is there winter? Well, Brian,
Good question.
we happen to know the answer to this, and that is the Earth's axis is slanted at 23.5 degrees, and because of this, in winter, the northern hemisphere is further away from the sun, and in summer, it's closer, and vice versa for the southern hemisphere. So there we go. Now we've got that one out of the way.
Yes, I reckon
Cycling.
we should get right into those cycling questions. We've got a question from Ronnie Eriksson who asks, there is no ride where I don't sweat, no matter what clothes I have on or how hard my effort is. This is just the way I am. So my issue is, how do I transport the sweat away from my body? Are there any tips on that, Chris?
There definitely are, Ronnie. And I think the point I made in the winter training video behind us is that when I said don't sweat, what I really meant was try and keep your skin dry. So you want to wear like a long thermal base layer that will help wick the sweat away from your skin, which is where you're going to feel that it's cold. Yeah, you're less likely to smell as well.
Well, yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah. And also don't overdress. The first few minutes when you step outside, you're likely to feel cold no matter what you're wearing. So it's quite easy to overestimate how much you need. So just pay attention to that as well.
So if you do want more info on dressing for the winter, then do check out this video behind us that Chris, Emma and Ollie was in.
Yeah, don't be fooled. It really was cold there.
Winter cycling can be a pretty cold and wet experience in almost any corner of the globe. But that doesn't stop people getting out and enjoying it. There must be ways that you can make it more pleasurable.
Yeah, and some of them are pretty easy too. So here we're going to give you our top 7 tips for how to make your winter cycling warm, comfortable, and therefore more fun.
We go to the cafe now.
Yeah, my hands are freezing.
So the winner of the 3 months free subscription from Zwift, coming right your way, is Steve Staranka. What's the best way to train indoor for sprinting during the winter? I have a kicker core, but out of the saddle sprinting feels, well, pretty awkward. Now, you're a sprinter and you do a fair bit of training indoors, so give us some sessions.
Seated sprints are your friend here, because indeed trying to stand up and sprint on a turbo trainer is never going to feel quite right, and it's probably not the best for your bike either. So you want to sit down, which could in some circumstances out on the road even be faster. A downhill sprint or a real fast sprint with a tailwind actually, and certainly on tired legs too. The key durations that you want to look at doing are 10, 15 or 20 second sprints, and then you want to do 6 of those in one session and have around 8-minute recoveries in between.
Yeah, and there's another session you could try, which is sprinting after a race or a really hard session, because you're already at the maximum sustainable capacity, so doing that will actually really help your sprint as well.
Yeah, that's much more race specific, so if you do those, you really find that it helps. 90% of your sustainable power for 4 minutes 45, I think it was, and then a 15-second all-out sprint. Let us know how you get on with those.
Yeah, they sound pretty tough.
Yeah, they do.
Rather you than me. But yeah, do let us know in the comment section below.
Next up, we have Ondra Stalek II. Talkback. I think during the winter, I will only have time and sunlight on the weekends, 2 to 3 hours, and maybe the weather will be too bad as well. What sessions should I be focusing on?
Well, that's a good question, because I think we're in the same boat here. We've come from all-day training to, well, training around work, which can be quite difficult. So I know exactly where you're coming from. I would personally, on the Saturday, or at least one day, do some really hard structured efforts. That is perfectly enough time, 2 to 3 hours, to get a really hard session in. And then for the other day, do a more endurance style ride. So, 3 hours, kind of zone 2, and that will help build your sustainable endurance as you work up.
Yep, and don't worry if you have to miss a week because of the bad weather. The next week soon comes around.
It's the same for everyone.
We now have Michael Albany, who asks, why is it that in winter we are expected to not have as much training or as much stamina? I seem to get more personal best in the winter than I do in the summer. Maybe it's because I have better tailwinds. I like to train all year round. P.S. The climate here is very much like it is in the UK.
Yeah, peak fitness is kind of relative to you personally. The track riders will be peaking in the winter as well, so, well, you're not alone. And also the cross riders. But then again, if you're pretty fatigued in the summer and then you're a lot fresher in the winter because you're not racing and you're not putting in those hard sessions, you could also be getting your peak power sessions or peak power performances in the winter because you are just that much fresher.
Next up is a question from John Bailey, who rides cyclocross, mountain bikes and road. I'm going to shorten the question a little bit. Through the winter, he tends to ride more off-road. I would like to know how the technique and the shorter, more anaerobic efforts translate to his road riding, and how can he address this?
I think quite a lot of us are in that same boat. When it's the winter and it's muddy and it's murky, and it's far more fun just to kind of head to the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, less wind chill.
Yeah, and get on the cyclocross bike and embrace the mud instead of kind of hiding away from it.
Yeah.
But I think what he's got to do is work on those kind of more endurance instead of the distance. So when you're doing your session off-road, kind of elongate that session. So hold the power on that little bit more.
Yeah, in between the efforts.
Yeah, don't worry about kind of the distance, more worry about the length of it.
Yep,
really.
absolutely.
So do your hard effort, but elongate it throughout, that session, and then that will hopefully build your endurance and your sustainable power instead of the peaks that you would normally train for.
Yep, and it's a great way to build up your technique. I think you're doing onto.
Although I've been persuaded to race, you certainly don't have to, because riding off-road is great fun just for the sake of it. My problem though is that ever since starting cycling in my 20s, I've been very much a roadie. A few attempts at mountain biking have been, frankly, laughable.
Right, we have a question from 13-year-old Gunnar YT. I wonder how far I should bike on a training ride, or if I should do climbs or long flat rides. I also wonder how I can not be sweating in the winter. I want to become a cyclist, and well, GCN is my best inspiration. Well, we are glad we're your inspiration, and carry on doing what you're doing. But I would start with around a 1 hour. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to do too much. You're still super young, so don't get bogged down in the nitty gritty.
No, exactly. Don't worry about how long you're riding a bike. Worry more perhaps about the types of bike rides that you're doing. So you want to try and do as many disciplines as you can. And if you know a friend that's got a mountain bike, you could borrow that, or a cyclocross bike, a bit of track riding, and all of this will help you build into becoming a more well-rounded bike rider. Because ultimately, professional bike riders are really good at everything. Even the worst pro bike riders downhill are still pretty fast. And even the worst climbers, they're still pretty quick too.
Yeah, but I would say just enjoy riding your bike.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy the freedom and enjoy what it gives you. Don't be bogged down by the training specifics. Just go out and enjoy it, because whatever you enjoy, whatever makes you happy, will actually make you stronger and a better rider in the long run.
Yeah, focus on technique and enjoy it.
So the next question is from who, Chris?
It's from Graham Barker. How about something for riders who don't have power meters or heart rate monitors? Because after all, we are not all millionaires.
Well, that is true, and well, we do know that power meters and the like do get quite expensive.
Yep.
But we do have the absolute perfect video for you that
we're in it.
Is just out, and we're in it. It's all about training on feel, and yeah, go check it out, because there's some great sessions in there that will really help you and get better without the gizmos and the power meters and the left, right and center. So do go and check that out, and yeah, do let us know in the comment section if that's helpful, and we'll hopefully do some more videos on training on feel.
So even though you're not using tech to monitor or even dictate your training, be warned, it could still be having an influence over your rides. And that comes via your riding buddies. You never know if they're on Strava, and maybe they're just aiming to rip up their local KOM.
So we have a question in from MSC who asks, I'm looking to do London to Brighton off-road next year. Wow, that sounds pretty epic. I'd love to do kind of something like that. But I have disc degeneration disease in my neck, and the cold weather is a struggle. I have an exercise bike, but will it help? Any tips on winter training, and any tips would be a great help.
Well, Emma, that is a good question, and absolutely your indoor exercise bike will be the perfect partner for the winter, and keeping you warm and keeping you fit and building your fitness for next year.
Yeah, so have a go and just try out some different sessions. We've actually got some sessions on the channel.
Hard ones
too. Yeah, so do go and check that out, and well, we wish you well with all that kind of training.
Yeah, and send us a picture from next year's epic London to Brighton.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Right, 10 seconds till our final high cadence 10-second drill. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're on to the quick fire round. Now, you have got Chris and I, and, well, we do treat the quick fire rounds as quick fire rounds. So, well, here we go. Paul Lubbers says, do you have some hacks to keep warm and dry, such as the use of tinfoil or sandwich bags around your toes before putting on shoes to keep the cold and wind and rain out?
Yep, cling film and tinfoil over your shoes and your socks is really going to help you. And then petroleum jellies like Vaseline and baby oil over any joints or any exposed skin. It's really going to build up a good wind block and keep all the elements out.
Yeah, so try that. Let us know how you get on.
Ian's up next with winter fast approaching, what's the best riding schedule, preferably outdoors, to stay sharp without freezing to death or risking injury on snowy, icy days?
Right, straight out the block. So we're talking short, hard sessions. So just get out and really get straight into a session. Remember, you've always got to get a warm up in. So maybe 10 to 15 minutes of easy riding and high cadence. And then, yeah, just get into a hard session.
Yep. Don't fret about missing a day, though, just because it's wet and icy outside. If you go out and you fall off and you break a bone, that's 6 to 8 weeks in your bed. So,
exactly.
Yeah, 1 day missed for 6 weeks, it's not worth it.
Nope.
Max up next.
Yeah, I find that when it starts to get chilly, I drop an average speed by 1.5 to 2 miles per hour. What the heck is up with that? Is that normal? Can I do something about that?
It is normal, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Don't forget, the clothes you're wearing are going to be different. Air density is going to be thicker. And you're more likely to be wearing more clothing, which will mean you're heavier for many reasons. Maybe you're less flexible because it's cold outside and you can't get in that aero tuck like normal.
Yeah, so don't fret about it. Go out, enjoy it, and yeah, don't fret about the speeds.
Rowan Harley, indoors versus outdoors, pros and cons for each. Well, I'll start with indoors.
Yeah, go for it.
Pros, controllable, repeatable, it's reliable, and it's time efficient. And the cons, it's a bit boring, it's repetitive, power numbers might be lower, you can't stand up for the explosive sprints, and you're not training your technique in the same way you would be outside.
Yeah, and outside, it's open air, it's beautiful sunshine, it's just being out in...
Go for longer,
there's more to look at.
More variety, good for technique.
Yeah, the cons, you can't control the weather.
Nope.
Yeah, so you could be running in the rain or snow or whatever.
Could be more dangerous.
Could be very much, more dangerous with the cars and just being out on the open road, potholes, so...
Choice is yours.
Yeah.
I'd go outdoors if I could, but it's not always possible. Ramon Villegas. When doing high intensity training, how do you keep the specific zone when you're on a rolling road? Well, you just have to aim to get as close as you can.
Yes, I wouldn't worry too much about that. No. If you kind of keep on the power during the downhills, then keep on the power during the uphills, you can try and get close to it, but
exactly. If you're close to it and your heart rate's still pounding away, then you're going to be very close to the zone that you want to train.
Exactly.
Training zones don't simply start and stop. It's a continual thing.
Exactly. The next question from Jante van Verhersteten. Is that good?
Jente van Herstraten.
Well, that's good.
Hang on, it's not. Jente Verherstraten.
We're still working on our pronunciation.
Start again. We then have Jente Verherstraten.
That was good, Chris. Fair one. What should I do in winter when I'm home from work, when it's dark and I only have the weekends for riding in daylight? Well, what would you do about that, Chris?
Just make the most available of the time that you do have. If you can do 2 or 3 short, intense sessions throughout a week, then that will really help boost your fitness. Yeah,
so really just do as much as you can. I know it's always difficult with work and daylight, but when it's dark, maybe jump on the indoor bike or jump on Zwift and then make the most of those weekend daylight rides.
Yep. Next up is Razone Alon. I live in a really rainy town. Every time I go out, my feet get wet, even though I wear overshoes. So what's your cure for this? Mine would be to put that thick silver foil insulating tape over your shoes. So take your cleats off, cover the hole with those, and then screw back through the insulation tape. And then maybe pad out the inside of your shoe with the same stuff as well.
That's quite a good hack, actually. I might try that.
May have done that before myself.
Yeah. We also have a question from Stephen Reeves, who asks, best advice for staying warm while nursing some gnarly
road rash.
Road rash, yeah.
Well, my first advice would be heal up properly before you start heading outside, but then simply covering it with like one of those light anti-stick bandages and wearing your normal clothes over the top, and you should be fine.
Yeah, I would definitely let it heal because it does get wet and it seeps and then it gets sticky. So make sure you've left it out in the open air, maybe around home. So we're saying, don't wear too much, and then when it's nice and dry and crusty, then you can put something over it and get out on the bike.
We then have Anton Antonis. How do you stay warm when it's minus 25 degrees outside? Even on my mind is freezing. Here we have temperatures like this 5 months of the year. Luckily, I have my own pet bear and vodka.
Oh, vodka and beers.
Bears.
Bears?
Bears, not beers, bears.
Oh.
That sounds like a dangerous combination. Indoor training is going to be your friend. Yeah, or just loads of clothes. Or maybe you could like wear the bear somehow. Snuggle up to the bear, drink loads of vodka. I don't know.
We'll leave that up to you. Can you make cyclo-cross playlist from Crickby417? Can you make a cyclo-cross playlist?
It's already up on the channel. All you have to do is type in cyclocross and all the videos, bang, appear there for you.
Yeah, and there are some pretty cool videos, so do go and check that one out. And that is the end of our quickfire round. That was pretty quick.
Well, we tried, didn't we?
Yeah. So if you do have any questions for us, then leave them in the comment section below. But next week is going to be a climbing themed.
Uphill struggle.
Yeah, so if you have a really burning desire to get your question on GCN about climbing, then make sure you get your question in and it, well, hopefully will be answered here at GCN next week.
Yep, don't forget to use the hashtag Ask GCN Training for your chance to win 3 months free subscription to Zwift.
Yeah, and for any other questions, use the hashtag TalkBack. And yeah, if you want to look at a video that Cy and Neil did from GMBN, then do and go and check that one out just down here.
Ooh, gravel mountain bikes.
Which one's going to win?
Easy.
Gravel.